Hello everyone, it's Granny J Clay or Joni, and I wanted to invite you to sit with me a little while and create. These two hunks of clay here are from previous projects that I have done, and I thought I would allow you just to come in and see what I do from beginning to end. First of all, let me just show you something that I did yesterday. There we go, and we'll bring these over too. Okay. I decided I would try something a little bit different. I love to use texture on whatever. And so I made these beads. This would be kind of good for, you could use it for a bracelet, focal point for a bracelet, you know, put holes on either end and then attach the bracelet and maybe some other beads. Or it can be a necklace. These can certainly be earrings. It could be a bracelet as well, a smaller focal bead for a bracelet. You'd have to drill holes in them, and which is really, really easy to do. Let me just show you my little tiny hand drill here that I use quite often. And you can buy these at the hobby store. You can buy these also at any, like Home Depot, Lowe's, that kind of place. All right. These would be earrings. These are tiny. They could be used for a bead used for other things too, but I would think that maybe earrings add some beads to that. Now this is the rest of the clay that I used. First I cut this out. This was also clay that I had just sitting in a drawer because I used it for another project. Really, really trying, I think I told you that, to use up my clay that I have already started using. Anyway, I made some beads out of what was left over from this. And I have not put any resin on these yet, and I think I'm going to spray them this time. This is the spray that I use. It's, what is it? Zinsser Shellac. Yeah, it's from Bullseye, and it says it dries in minutes. It's clear. I bought this, I believe, at Home Depot, and it's very, very helpful. I have maybe 3 cans of this. This is kind of on the end of it. But I did spray these, and all I do is put them in an aluminum cake pan and put a piece of wax paper under them, and then I just put them in there and I lightly sprayed them. You don't want to do heavy spray. You can do 3 or 4 sprays if you'd like. I just did 1 spray on these because I had added just a little bit of some powder on there, some Pearl X powder. So if you can kind of see that. And the other side, let me just turn these over so you can see. I put a texture on as well, and I used some of the clay that I used for the beads for the back. And basically what I did for that is after I cut out what I wanted to cut out from my gray clay and pink clay, I just rolled it up and then began to twist it. And then once I twisted it, I made a back for this, and then also the balls, or the little balls, the little beads. So that's kind of what I'm going to show you how to do today, a technique something like that. Actually, this particular technique I haven't tried before. Yesterday was my first time. It's fairly simple, however, but your clay needs to be soft to work with it. And so if you have clay, like I have, I'm going to move these so I don't bump them. Put them over there and put it over here. So I'm going to have to work with these, I think, a little bit. This is a chunk of clay that I had not used at all, but obviously I attached some used clay with it. So I'll just roll this out too, and we'll see what we can do with this. But obviously I will not need all of this, and so what I'm going to do is just, and you can see there's sparklies in that and whatever, and it really doesn't matter. What I have to do is choose, do I want like this, do I want the yellow on top, or do I want the orange on top? I haven't quite decided yet, so maybe you can help me out. Okay, so there go the balls. They're gonna decide to roll on me. Hang on just a second. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is just cut some of this off. See what it looks on the ends, like on the inside. Ooh, pretty sparklies. I do not remember what I made with this, but it sparkled, obviously. So I'm just going to set this aside for now. And I think what I'm going to do is just start to chop this in some pieces. That's usually how I start with clay that's been sitting around a little bit, that I've used before. Oh yeah, it's got glitter in it. Ooh, that is really pretty. And then I just put them together as best I can anyway, like this, just like that, and like that, and like that, and maybe I'll add this one over here. No real form or fashion, I guess, but I want them to lay one on top of the other because I want to roll it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just take this and get some of this out of the way and roll it. I'll probably have more crumbs and more glitter. This, of course, is my acrylic roller. Let's see, this is an 8-inch long acrylic roller, and I think it's about an inch, yeah, inch round, inch in diameter. I love my acrylic roller. I do have a pasta machine sitting right next to me. It's called the Atlas 180 Wellness. And I attached, I was just thrilled to finally order a little, sorry, I have to work it a little bit, put a little effort in here. I ordered a motor for it. So you're going to hear some noises. And usually a blade helps you get that off. Oh, look at all those pretty sparkles. That's going to be really pretty. Might have to have that on the top. All right, let me just run this through the pasta machine because I did process this clay and worked the clay when I originally worked with it, but it's been sitting. And so I just want to make sure that the plasticizers within the clay get moved around, and I want to soften it up a little bit so I can work with it. So let's see what happens. Plug your ears. One roll through, so you can see that. Now that's on my 0 setting, which is the widest setting that I have. Pick up the glitter here with my clay, and I'm just going to work it a little bit. What I'll do now is just kind of fold it over, run it through again on 0. And you can hear the motor. It works a little harder when you fold it over until it's more softened. I'll tell you, I don't know what I would have done without this motor. Your arm gets a little tired of cranking all the time if you make a lot of things out of clay, which I did in the past and continue to do now. All right, now I set it at a 1, which is 1 degree less than 0. So it's getting thinner. Can you tell how it's working? Yeah. My camera is stationary, or I would let you see it. But you can look them up on the internet, the motors, and they attach really simply. If I can attach it, anybody can attach it to the pasta machine. It's awesome. That's still on 1. I'm going to set it on a 2. So getting tighter and tighter. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. There's that. It's working that glitter in a little bit better too, so it's not going to fall all over the place, hopefully, but I love that it's got the glitter in it, so we'll see. I kind of am a bling person. I love bling. I like sparkle. Okay. I'm just going to push the ends in just a little bit. I don't even know if I'll use this whole piece, so we'll see. Again on a 2 setting. I'm going to the 3 setting now, which is even tighter. As you can see, got longer for me here. If you are a newbie at clay, I just want to tell you that I didn't get the pasta machine motor until years after I started doing clay. But you know what? As long as they're available, and if you can just save some money to buy it, oh, they're so helpful. Just go ahead and splurge a little bit. You will not be sorry. All right, now I've got it. I see it picked up some gray clay from yesterday. I've got these little tools that I can just kind of scrape the gray out, except, you know what? I don't even know that I'll use all this on this side. So what I do is I start a little clay pile. This is really little from yesterday. Let me show you. When I need to scrape things out of my clay, I put it in here, and then I mix this clay up and save it for later for whatever reason I want to use it for. Okay. All right. I have some specks here and there, but that's not going to hurt it. So now what I'm going to do is I want to check this out. Oh, I'm getting a little bit of sparkle on that, which it's not going to hurt it for sure. I think what I'll do is just try to roll this in one big piece. We'll see. We'll see. Sorry. Clang, bang, boom. That's how it goes though sometimes. Okay. This one is a little bit harder since I had not preconditioned the clay. This was just part of the bar of clay from this one. Now let me just go ahead and, yeah, this roll is easier. But what I'm going to do is roll them together like this, and then we'll run it through the pasta machine. Sometimes if your clay is too hard and you run it through the pasta machine, it will crumble on you. Don't give up. Don't give up on it. Just keep putting it back into a pile and maybe roll it like this a little bit, and then run it through the pasta machine again. Or if you have some, oh, let me just show you that while I'm doing this. If you have, or don't have, you might want to get some. It's called, this is really old, but I've been using it. It's called Sculpey Clay Softener. Let's see if I can show it to you. You can hardly read it because it's really worn off. It's a clay softener, and if you have old clay, all you need to do is, there you go. I bought this at, I believe, Michael's craft store here in the USA. Anyway, you just put like 2 or 3 dabs, little dots of this, and then you mix it into the clay, and it softens your clay up. It's great. It really is helpful. You don't want to, throw clay away just because it's hard. You have to be willing to soften it, take the time, and be patient. But, sometimes we sit down to do clay, and because I used to have a full-time job at a bank, and I couldn't wait to get home to do clay. I do it till the wee hours of the morning. Not good. Not good. But sometimes we rush home and we're such in a hurry to create something. We don't want to take time to soften any clay, but you will be happy you did, and get some of that orange out of my yellow. I don't want that there. Okay, let's see if I can run this through the pasta machine now. I'll take one of my blades and get it up and off of here. I have a white tile and I have a black tile, great big square ones like this, that I can work on too. I don't know, we'll see. I think that I may have solved my light problem though from shining in over here. You might be able to see it a little bit, but not too much. And I'm thankful for that. All right, I'm turning my pasta machine back to 0, which is my widest. So, I'll run it through. I wouldn't doubt if we pick up a little glitter that was left in the pasta machine. All right, just turned it to 1. 1 is the next, the next width. I see I'm picking up a little bit of orange, but it's okay. It doesn't really matter that much. Okay, here we go. On the 1. And I'm going to set it on the 2 now. It's getting a little tighter on me. Okay, and you can see that it picked up some color off of my rollers. I wipe my color off as best as I can from underneath, but I think there's going to be a point in time where I'll have to take it apart and clean it. But here we have some glitter that it picked up and some blue or gray. Yeah, there's a little blue there too. But you know what? This is just a fun project I'm going to play with, so I'm just going to let it stay. I'm going to run it on a 2 again. It depends what you're doing. On a 2, still on the 2. And the tighter you make your rollers, the more you're going to be able to see other colors maybe come off your rollers. So you know, it's time to clean my rollers. All right, I'm going to show you what I've got right now. As you can see, there's some speckles on it. Here's one, and here's another one. So I'm just going to pull those off with my tool, like that, and like that. And I'll probably run it through one more time, but I'm sure that I'll probably just pick up something else. We'll see. I've still got it on a 2. I'm going to run it on a 2 again. And I'm going to run it on the 3, so it will be even thinner. Nice long piece there. Be sure you process your clay before you work with it. It's important that if you play with clay one day and you go back to it the next day, just run it through your pasta machine a few times before you continue to play with it and create with it. It'll just loosen it up and all the plasticizers will be moved around and you will be happier. It won't crack. All right, let me run it through 3 again. All right. I think what I'm going to do here is, it's got a few marks on it. Can you see? Let's see here. Some right here. That's not going to bother me though. And a little bit on the back. Just maybe one more time, run it through. I think I'll do it on a 2 this time. We'll see what happens. Okay. Yeah, it still has some marks here and there, but it's not going to bother me for this project. I'm getting glitter on everything. I guess you have to expect it when you're working with clay that has glitter. Glitter gets all over. Okay, I think I made a decision that I'm going to have this be the background. All right. This yellow is going to be the gray. So it'd be in the background. This orange will be the foreground. Okay? Or the pink. So let's do this. I tried something yesterday, and let me just show you what I tried and see if it works or doesn't work today. I gotta find the tool that I used. Just gotta stand up a second here. Okay. Oops, sorry about that. I have a bunch of dental tools that my niece and nephew gave to me because he's a dentist, and I had this tool over there in the dental tool, so that's what you saw fall out there. All right, I want to show you a little technique here that I discovered yesterday when I was watching an old YouTube video. What I mean by old is many years ago somebody made it, and I'm not even sure who that was, but I can check if you need to know. But what they did was they took a tool, and you can take a, they said, what, a screwdriver tip if you want. This is kind of like a screwdriver tip. And we'll just see how this works. Oh, that came off. Move it out of the way. And what they did was, let's see, this is going to be my background. So let's work on this piece instead, because it would be the one that's going to be on top. And I might have to rerun this through the pasta machine after I'm done with this, because this is just a practice. I used this yesterday and I practiced with it, but it just didn't work for me. Maybe it'll work better today. And then I'll show you what I did to get those holes. I didn't use this. But let's see. So what they did is they just took their, you probably can't see very well, but they just took their tool and they made marks like that. Got to make sure you go through. Just one right under the other and a little way from each other. That's maybe 1/4 of an inch apart, something like that. And then what you want to do is you want to come back this way too, but not too close, because you don't, we're going to stretch it and see what happens with it. So I'm going to put one there, and there, there. And I'm only going to make 3 rows for now. That's kind of crooked. That's okay. But we'll see. Maybe it'll obey me better today, you think? Maybe not. Okay. And I'll just make one more up there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut this off a bit. So I don't have to work with all of it, because I won't use all of it right now. I'll rerun that. But what they said to do is to take it then and you stretch it. And very slowly, see how that tore right there? That's what I was coming up against. See, that tore too. It just maybe has to be further apart, or the clay has to be just that much. That, yep. Let's just try that once. Okay. I'm letting you in on the way I play at home. Okay? So if I don't like it, I'm not going to continue it. I'm just going to start over right away. All right, let's try this. I'm going to make this further apart. I'm going to make it small, because we're just practicing for now. So here we go. I will put one here. And that really doesn't go through that much. Okay, then I'm going to go further away here, and further away here, and then here, maybe one up there, I don't know, here, kind of the in-between, and one here, one here, and one here. All right, let's see what happens on this. Make sure that they are cut. It goes all the way through. You don't want to have to pull too hard. Now you have to pull, but you don't want to have to pull too hard that it rips like I just did. So you just kind of ease it out. Is what I kind of saw them doing. Easing it out, stretching it out. Theirs seem to stretch a lot easier. I wonder if theirs might have been thinner. That might be. Okay. I'm going to try to do a little bit more, a little bit more. You see how it's cracking? I'm afraid that's not going to work for me. Let me just try something with the yellow. Because we can, right? Because we can. All right. All right, let's try it again. See what happens with this. Who knows? I think I'll come right down the middle first. All right, now let's see. Now, see, it's going to tear. So what I'm thinking is that you really need to have soft clay. That's what I ran into yesterday, and then I'll show you what I did and what I just settled on, kind of settled for, when I made these. And we're going to add texture, of course. I have texture, everybody. I ran it through, but look what it did. I created a mess. So I'm just going to rerun it. And it's got some orange on it, and I'm not going to care because it's kind of a creative day today. If I'm really intense in making something, I do not want other colors on my clay, but I'm not that way today. It's okay. All right, this is how it goes when I start playing. This is how it goes. I just play, play, play. All right, let me get this through. And what I'm going to do this time is, excuse me, I'm going to make this very thin. All right, this is down. I put it on a 3. Remember, a 0 is my widest, so this is the 3rd. If you can see that, it's still fairly thick. So what I'm going to do now is just cut some of that off and okay, put that there. You know, if you make things from clay, this is very, I'm sure you do a lot of this kind of thing too. So I'm going to get this down even thinner, so it's going to be on a 4 this time. Okay, I'm going to try it on the 4, and I'm going to show you what I did. So I got my cutters out. I have this little group of leather cutters that I use for clay though all the time, and this is what they look like. And yesterday I decided I would take out, let's see, was it this one? No, it was this one. This little hole cutter here, like this, see? Can you see that? It's very small. In fact, let me see, I'll measure it. It is about 1/4 of an inch or so. All right, so I'm going to use that, set that there. That off. All right, let's try it and see. Remember, it's thinner, so we'll see. See if thinner is better or not. But I used this yesterday. I just, excuse me, I punched out some holes, and when it goes in here, as you can see, it gets caught. These are the little dots that you can save and use as spacer beads if you want to, making necklaces. But I just took that and punched it out like that with a Q-tip. And then I'm going to come down here a little ways. I make another one, punch it out, and make another one. I know they're not real straight or even. That's okay though. And I'm going to make one here. I'll just lift that up and get it out of there since it stayed on the thing, on the glass. Okay, and then one here. I need to twist a little bit more, I think. Yep. Okay. I'm going to put one more maybe up here. Pop it out. I'm not going to save these for dots or for spacer beads this time, but you can. Just remember, we're just kind of playing. I'm just kind of showing you a technique I use to make my beads. All right, and I'll pop that out, and let's see how this works today. This is what I did yesterday. I just picked it up. Let's see if I get my blade to get it off, easier. Okay, and then I started to do this with the same kind of thing, only I just lightly pulled. Do you see how it's starting to stretch it? Just lightly, lightly pulled. Lightly, lightly, lightly. Like that. Turn it this way. I'm going to pull this way a little bit. Pull this way a little bit. Push this way. And if you had a little cutter that was the same shape as the oval you're trying to make here, you could just use an oval cutter. But I was trying to get kind of a raindrop look. I don't know that I succeeded, but okay. And you see how this is cracking right here? So just go back in and kind of fix it a little bit as best you can. Anyway, and then just, I'm going to continue just pulling a little bit. You see how that pulls? And I think maybe having a thinner clay will be the trick to it. This is set on a 4, so it thinned it out pretty well. I'll show you how thin that is. Okay, that one still is tearing, and now this one wants to tear too. So I'm going to put it down, and I'm going to just hold on to the holes, but I'm going to sort of release them. Do you see how that's tearing? Okay, I'm going to back it up. I want this underneath anyway, so I'm just playing for now. I really want to stretch the orange one. But you can kind of see what I did. I had a little orange on that. I wanted to get it off. Okay, so that will work. And you try this technique too. If you get it to work for you, let me know. In fact, should we just run one? Let's just run one through the 4 and see if we get it going here. I'm going to go to 5, even one thinner. Actually, I went to a 6. I went to a 6 mistakenly, so it is pretty thin. You can see my fingers through here. It's pretty pliable. So let me see if we get anything at all from this. All right. We got some glitter. All right, let's see what happens with, I want to try this one more time since it's so thin. Actually, they made the cuts smaller. I'm making them bigger than they had. I just tore that one. All right, let's just pick it up and see. No, it still wants to tear. Yeah, it still wants to tear. So yeah. I'm sure there is something that I need to do differently that I'm not doing right now, but I'm going to stick with my hole puncher for today. And now I want to show you, I'm going to put I want to put a texture. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's texture on the gray clay underneath. And there is texture on the pink clay on top. And there is texture on the back. I didn't spray the back of these because I didn't put any of the Pearl X powder on that. But, so what we're going to do is make we're going to make this sheet wide. So I'm going to go back to setting 0 on my Atlas 180. And I'm going to bring it through. And I'm going to run it through a couple times. And you can see that it does have extra stuff here, but I'm not going to use this whole thing, so I'm going to just take it off. You have to determine what you're going to make, how much clay you need, all of that. Doesn't mean that you need to use every bit of clay that you get out. And that's how you get leftover clay, because you use this piece and then you got this leftover. So I have a lot of leftover clay. Okay, so it's pretty thick. Can you see? Pretty thick. All right, so what I'm going to do next now is I'm going to texture this clay. And I think I have so many texture sheets. So many texture sheets. I have these two. These two run through my pasta machine really easily. And these, this is from Create Along. This is called the Paisley Vine, which I think is beautiful. It's got little flowers in it, which I think I'll use. And this one is also from Create Along, and it's called Flower Screen. So you can see all the little kind of daisies in there. I'm going to use this one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pick this up. I'm going to put my clay on it. This will be the back. This will be the back of the clay. So what I'm going to do is run this through. And you know what? If it's going to be the back of the clay, what I might want to do is make sure that, let's just put this here. Well, let me show you in just a second. Or I can just do this. I'll make a sandwich out of it. Now it's fairly thick to go through the pasta machine, so I don't want to take a chance. I don't want to hurt my pasta machine. So let's just run it through here. Now when I run this through the pasta machine, this is very thin, so it'll go through easily. But you'll notice that the clay stretches out. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. Look at that. You see how long it is? Now let's pull it off. Isn't that lovely? Look at that. Oh, just think that's beautiful. So I like to texture almost everything I make. I just love texture. So now this is going to go under the orange. I think orange and yellow look really pretty together. So what I'm going to do is, and I'm only going to make a few pieces. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put just a little bit of, if I get it out here, my Pearl X. Let's see, what color should I use today? I think I'll just go ahead and use the same. I might use Sparkle Gold. Yeah, that's what this is called. Pearl X Sparkle Gold. Okay, so I'm going to set this right here. And I've got a little, I bought these over at Michael's too. They're just little sticks that have foam on them. So I'm going to stick this in the Pearl X, going to get it nice and full, but then I'm going to tap it off. And all I'm going to do is just lightly kind of go over this. And it's not showing up at all, so I'm going to go back and get some more. Ooh, I like this. Do you see it? So I want to highlight it here and there. And what I'm going to do when I'm done with this is I'm going to cut it in half, and one of these pieces will be the back. The back. Like this is the front, that's the back. So you can do different things for the back. I think it's fun to keep your, you could use your finger to put this on too. And I just want it highlighted here and there, not the whole thing too full. And it'll pick up the sparkle real easily. So I'm just hitting kind of the raised areas. Oh, and some of the areas that aren't raised too, I guess. But look at, you can still see the yellow, but you see the gold. Isn't that pretty? Ooh, I like this color. I haven't used this one for a while. Again, this is Sparkle Gold, it's called, if you buy some or you want some. Okay. All right, I want to be able to still see. You can probably tell me where I might have missed a little bit more, but I think that's good. All right, so just so I don't spill this, I'm going to put this away again. I don't know if I told you or not, I think I may have, that your Pearl X will get all over everywhere. I just kind of give this a little wipe with my baby wipe here. And I put it away, and I see that it went all the way over on my cutter and all the way over here. So I'm just going to wipe it down so I don't accidentally get into it in a little bit. All right. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to bring this off of the blades. Are really good for scraping your area off if you need it scraped off. Okay, so then I'm going to wipe my blade so it doesn't have a bunch of gunk on it. And I'm going to bring it back, and I'm just going to eye it. About like that. Yeah. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over. That will be the back of my piece. I will put this on the top, kind of make it even here. Okay. Yeah, just like that. That's pretty, isn't it? But I get so many spam calls. I use my phone for filming, so if you hear that, I apologize. Now what I want to do is trim this up because I don't want to cut on the other side because I wouldn't get a double side if I did. There, I'm just going to trim it up a little bit and then go to this side and see where I need to trim it. A little bit, a little bit. Okay. So that's set. So the part of the bead that's gray here will be this. And so that's all ready to go. And all I did was, with this sheet, is I had rolled the leftovers out, and then I just added it. So you can see there's some thickness to it there. All right. So, and now I'm going to take my orange, and I'm going to run it through quick. We just got a bonus having a, I'm not going to run the whole thing through. We have a bonus with all this sparkle going on. At least I think it's a bonus. I love sparkle. Okay, so let me roll it out a little bit, and then I'll run it through the pasta machine. All right. I ran it through on 0, now I'm going to go to a 1, so it's getting a little thinner. Now I'm going to a 2, and I'm not going to go any thinner than that. So you can see there's some great clay that I picked up there. So I'll just make sure that goes underneath. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, but there is some gray on top, and I don't want, very light-handed here, to take that off, put it in my little pile. Here, let me show you what I do. I just take it and I push it there. Okay, I'm going to run it through one more time to kind of even out that. Okay, I won't didn't pick up any more clay, so that's good. All right, now what I'm going to do is I want to texture this as well. And as long as we went with that on there, maybe we'll use the other one and you get to see what this one looks like. Let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. So I'll pick it up. I'm going to go run it through, and I'm going to run it through on 0 because we have this thick sandwich thickness now. So here we go. All right, I ran it through, and there you have that. Kind of sparkly look. Isn't that pretty? Yeah. All right. Now what I want to do is I want to make my holes. So I'm going to randomly put my holes in, and then I'm going to put a little bit of Pearl X on it. If you cut on glass or a tile, sometimes it will stick to it, and that's good if you want it to stick. Sometimes it's kind of a pain. So you can put a sheet of paper under it if you want to. I generally don't, but I see what you can see. See how that left some residue in the hole there? Right there. All right, well, we'll deal with that in a little bit. Let me show you how I just get a little bit more out here. Pop those through. And pop that through. Now, we won't, of course, need a backing sheet because this, the yellow is the backing sheet for this orange. So I don't need to worry about the back of it. I just want to make sure the front is presentable. Okay, for that. And I'm going to see if I can get 2 out at a time. Yeah, oh, good, okay. It's just pushing them up, so that's good. All right. I think it's about all you can put in there because it gets pretty full. See the plug that came out of there? Okay. I'm going to clean that hole up a little bit. All right. what is kind of becoming a pain is the glitter in here, because it kind of sticks out here and there. Like, yeah, that's a little harder to cut. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is, I can still see some glitter here and there, but I'm going to show you how I stretch it. Let's see here. Let's just do, I don't need all of this on here, so I'll take that off, and I'll take this bottom off, and I want to make sure I'm in screen for you, so let me pick it up here and come back up. Okay, so now let's stretch it, shall we? Just very easily, just take it and stretch. Stretch. This is where you have a light hand. Even that one right there is wanting to, it's wanting to tear on me. Let me see what I can do with that. Aha! I just used the bottom of this little 5-inch pointer stick, and I pulled the glitter off of it. Let's see, I don't know. Now I'm going to try to, from the inside, fix that hole. We'll see. It may or may not work. All right, now pull, pull. And then I'm going to go over here and just hold on to here a little bit and pull. Very, very light-handed. Very light-handed. This one wants to tear. Excuse me. So, yeah, that one wants to tear too. Okay, so very light-handed. Oh, I like this better. If when you pick it up in your hands, that just seems to work a little bit better. And if it tears, just push it back together. Okay. And, yeah, that tore a little bit. Put it back together. That one did too. You guys are helping me discover if this works or not. So far, I'm not that thrilled about the technique. But if you don't try new things, you always have the same old thing. So go ahead and try. Try. Holding on to where that cracked and trying to see if I can get it from stop cracking. Okay, that's not too bad. That one I need to push back together. Okay, stretch. And it tore over there. All right. Okay, stretch. This one wants to, I see that one wants to do that too. Just stretch a little bit at a time. So now I'm going to pick that up. Stretch. Stretch. See how that one's tearing over there? Yeah. Maybe using an oval cutter is better. Okay. See if I can get some of these inward ones here. Okay, that's going better. That one wants to stretch. I use the other end of this and see if I can just kind of work it back in a little bit. Or you can also turn it over, and then you won't touch the texture as much. And all you do is push it together and then just with your finger kind of wipe over it a little bit. And that will help smooth it back together. Oh, this one is so funny. Marlene, Marlene, who is in Sweden, wanted to know if I was going to, I showed her, I had sent her an email showing her these, and she wanted to know if I was going to do a video on it. So I really hadn't planned to, but for Marlene, I'm going to. We're just becoming friends. She's just a sweetheart. She watches Emma too. Yeah. Do beading and such. Okay, this isn't the best. And do you see how this is making me lose some of the So I'm not going to use that part. Okay, so I'll just go like that. I can do whatever I want to do. That. And all right, this is kind of odd, but let's just put it on. Okay, before we put it on, we'll just add a little tiny bit of Pearl X to this as well. So here we go. And I'm going to add the gold to this too, here and there, kind of. Oh, that's pretty. I love flowers. I love spring. Today it's very cold out. We're supposed to get a little snow in Kansas. And we've already had springy, beautiful weather in the 70s. So it's, the weather's just kind of goofy, isn't it, guys? All right. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to show you something that was fun to make. You know how I started out in doing clay things? I made bunnies. Move this out of the way. That's just enough of a glimmer. I don't need any more than that. But I made all kinds of bunnies and farm animals, piggies, and just all kinds of animals. And maybe you can go back in my videos and see some of those. And some of those are gone now. I've given them away to kids and just let them enjoy them. I can show you a few today too, if I remember to do it. But I want to show you the... I was just playing yesterday with a bunny. And I thought, we'll just get her going here and see if I can show you guys. All right, bring in the back. I'm going to lay it here. Isn't that pretty? And, all the holes aren't equal, and that's okay. In fact, I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to get rid of some of this orange. Here. Because I'm going to come in with a cutter now and cut, and I don't want to cut where there isn't a backing. And I can see what's up on this one, so that's okay. All right, push that in a little bit so it doesn't, let's see, where did my little thing go? Okay, all right. Now, with this one, I'm going to make a circle. So I'll get my circle cutters out. I have several of these. I've got a raindrop, I've got hearts, I've got, let's see, what else? Oval cutters, but these I use the most. My nylon cutters, they don't have a seam in them, and that's so wonderful. So you don't have to go back and smooth anything out. But as you can see, I ordered these from Fat Daddy-O's on the internet. So it says, seamless design is ideal for dough, fondant, and craft projects. So that's what I've got going here. Let me just put this beside me and get rid of my tools. So I have a little bit more room here. Okay. Now what I do is I take a piece of, you're going to see all my extra clay sitting here. Still have leftover clay from my leftover clay. All right. So I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to pick up a piece of, it's called Stretch Tight Plastic Food Wrap, and I bought it at Kirkland's, which is, well, it's a Kirkland brand. I bought it at Costco, which is a big store here. Now I'm going to pull one of these out because I do want a beveled edge on this, and put that right there, and we'll bring this out here. Move that out of the way a little bit more so you don't have to look at everything. And when I pull it off the roll, sometimes it crumples up, and I don't want it crumpled up over my piece. So I will lay it down, and then what I do is I pick it up and I straighten it. I want it to be flat over my piece. Okay, that looks good. And the reason I do it is because I do want a beveled edge. So let's see how this is going to work. All right, I think I will make, and you can just look straight down into it like I am and see where you want to make your cut. And as you're doing that, think about, do you want to make earrings? Do you want to make smaller ones? Because I've got a smaller one that I could use to push earrings in here. So I'm going to get this as close to the edge as I can and get what I want. Okay, let's go this way. Okay, I want to make sure that I do get the whole pattern in there somewhere. So I've got it good now, and then I'm going to take my little, I think it's a 3x5, yeah, plexiglass piece, or acrylic piece, and just press. And I'm going to show you something in a minute. Make sure you press all around it. And then it drew in this saran wrap or this plastic wrap. And then I take it and twist it. Make sure it went all the way through. Okay, and that did. Now before I pick it up, I want to make sure I cut a couple of smaller holes for earrings. So is that going to work? Yes. I just want to make sure I get some holes on the earrings somewhere. And that will work there. And let's see here. So I'm just going to take my, and I want beveled edges on my earrings. So I'm going to put that on there and twist and twist. That's good. Okay, now I'm going to come over here and see if I can get where I want this. Let's see, do I want that whole one or do I want partial? Yeah, I want partial of the other one too. Okay, now I twist. Okay. Let me just put these away quick. And then very carefully, I will just lift this off. Sometimes you will have cut all the way through your saran wrap or your plastic wrap, and that piece will be stuck to your circle. I didn't this time, but if that happens to you, all you need to do is take a piece of Scotch tape and put it on top lightly, pull up, start at the edge and just pull up and it'll come off. You won't have to mess with it. Now this is leftover. This is what I used to make beads like this, and I will do that later. And all I do is I take it and just push it together, make sure I have some yellow showing, some orange showing, and then I just take it and first of all I push it together and then I roll it. And I'm not going to do this right now because I want to show you the rest of this. But push it together and then you roll it, and then you begin to twist it. And then you can cut off pieces and roll them into balls. But I want to show you a little bit about that too. So here we go. This is what we've got. If you look on the other side, you've got a nice edge to it. And you've got the pretty yellow background. So that'll be a pretty earring. I do not put holes in my clay generally until after it's baked. Because if you punch a hole in now, it makes the clay spread, just spread. And I don't want to do that. And I'm not sure where I want the hole. If I want it up there, which I might, or if I want it up on the yellow, whatever. So I've got those ready. So this will make a cute little, well, you know what it could be? It could be a necklace. I'm just getting the glitter off the sides. That's what I'm wiping here. When you work with glitter, it's just, kind of like Pearl X. It gets everywhere. All right, so that's that. You see that one shining right there? And that's the back of it. Isn't that pretty? I do have a stamp that I use. I don't know if you can tell, but that's JH for my initials. And I haven't stamped my initials into clay for a while now. I did a while back, but these are kind of thick. I want to get something that's thinner that goes into the clay easily. It doesn't deform it. Okay, so that's that. And I'm not going to I'm not going to decide where to put any holes, because this not only could be a necklace, and it would be a pretty focal for a necklace, but it could also be a bracelet if you want it to be. You want it formed like that. What I used for that, and I did form, let me just back these up a little bit. I want you to see them, but not all of it, is I used, Sculpey makes these hollow bead forms, and you can put something on the inside if you want to, or you can put it on the outside. I prefer the outside, and what I did is I took, once I had this cut, I took it and laid it on here. I laid a piece of that saran wrap like this over it, because I didn't want to touch it with my fingers, and I just made sure it was formed by pushing very lightly to this, and then I put the others I put up here, like here and here, and these I didn't put on at all. They didn't need it. So, okay. So that's what I did with those to form it. You can use a light bulb. Let me show you that too. I've got one in here somewhere, I think. I'm not sure where I put it. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. I made this years ago, and this works well. It works very well. Here's my light bulb, and I just took scrap clay, wrapped a bunch of scrap clay kind of haphazardly around it, and then what I did was I would take this and I would, I can bake it on this light bulb, because you know light bulbs get hot too, and so it won't break or anything in the oven. So I would set it in the oven, and I would decide where I wanted to put it here for what curve I wanted, and that works really, really well. So just kind of an idea for doing that part of it. All right, I'm going to back this up, and now what I want to show you is what to do with this real quickly, and then I'll show you a couple other things and we'll be done. I know this has gone longer than usual, so here we go. Here we go. All right, I rolled it, and it's not really together. You can see there's air in there, so I want to get the air out. I'll just push it together a little bit. But then I start twisting it. And you can hold it down here and start to twist it one end. Then you can kind of work it like that. You see how you get kind of a print to it? Like this. I didn't plan those stripes. That's just what happened when I twisted it. Twist, twist. And then what I did, I have, these are things I bought many years ago when I started claying, but I have these rollers that I can roll beads on. Now, this particular size, which is, let's see, let me see here, which is a 13, it says, but 13 millimeter for the bead. You can get these at a craft store. You used to be able to get them at the craft store. They're Sculpey. And these can come out, and you can put in a larger one, and I've got those. So you see, you can put in larger ones, and this is for 16 millimeter and 18 millimeter beads. I really go in for the smaller beads. In fact, these are big for me now. I used to like these great bigger beads, but because they're really easier to play with and work with, but I like smaller beads when I'm doing beading. But anyway, so what you do is you take your Sculpey, if you've got it. If you don't, no big deal. Just roll them in your hands. And but I take some clay and I stick it in here. This is how you measure how much clay you're going to have. And I turn it over and I just press it so I know it's in the bottom of it. And then you just take your blade and you just trim it. Trim it, trim it, trim it. Try not to get my hand, you see? And that's how big your bead is going to be. Yeah, it doesn't want to come out like that. My clay was real warm yesterday after my working with it. It came out easier. Okay, so then I take it and then I roll it in my hands to warm it up a little bit. I take it and lay it in the bead roller, put the top on, make sure it's on there, and then all you do is roll it back and forth several times. You can go faster if you like. Sometimes you need to redo these, but not necessarily. Okay, now watch. I'm going to push it and have it roll out. Look at that! See that perfect little ball? See? Pretty cool, huh? So I will make some of those when we are done here today, but I wanted to show you before I get off here. I wanted to show you how to do that. If you don't want to do it that way, just take some of your clay, warm it up, and just make sure there's no air in there. And then what I do is I try to roll right here on my hands. And now that's not going to roll very well because I have to work with it a little bit more. It's falling apart. But when you roll it just right here on your hands, you can get a ball that's very even. So try that. If you don't have the Sculpey bead rollers, you don't have to go out and buy them. It's okay. All right. Now, I wanted to show you what I made yesterday, so I have to go back into my little area, storage area here downstairs, and just run and get it. But while I do that, I will pull out just a couple of my old pieces. Why don't I just let you see my brides? I made a couple of brides. So I'll lay them side by side, and then I'll show you more of them when I come back. I'll be right back, so enjoy the brides. All right, I'm back. I'll just show you the brides real quick like. Oh, I just loved making these. I did my mom's hair and her friend's hair for her when I was growing up. And way back then, my mom, as well as her friends, you're going to hear my dogs barking. I have to apologize for that. Always had a really curly updo, so I did that with this and made her kind of sparkle for her wedding day, but there she is. So that's her. And here's my other bride. And she's got her hair pulled off to the side and big flower on her shoulder there. And her hair's pretty too. So there you go. We live in an area it's a construction area. Our little condo is where we live now, and so those are my brides. Anyway, and anybody that walks by, any worker, anything, those dogs just bark. So here's my latest kind of fun time project. Here's my little bunny. I'm going to show you her. She is sitting on a cushion. She's just kind of chillaxing, just relaxing. She's got her feet crossed. She's got her flip-flops on. She's got her glasses on. She's ready to go out. She's wearing a little pinafore. I don't know if you can see that. She's got a little pinafore on and her sunglasses. So she's ready to go out. She's holding on to her ears. She's got pink fingernail polish, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but she's also got some toenail polish on. And then I made her a little beaded bracelet. I just thought she needed a little bling. So she's kind of funny. She's kind of funny. So that's what I just did recently. Okay, everybody. I hope you learned something today. Just had kind of fun. And I hope you try some of this and enjoy it incredibly. Because, you know, hobbies are just for that reason, to really, really be able to enjoy them and just relax and don't worry about anything else. Just enjoy. And then once you're past that and you want to make things for other people, you'll have had a lot of practice. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you are blessed, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I know I plan to enjoy mine. I'll make the rest of these beads, and I'll bake this up, and I'll have it to make for either a bracelet or a necklace. So bye for now. Blessings to you all.